bar. I'm too persistent with income, no cast. Get it on my own, no collab. But a bar with me, that's a body bag. Yo, people, blood, what we telling them? Your boy Njies, man, and Njies, MLC Njies, now the building. Right now, we've got is reality real? The simulation argument, fam. Before we get into it, subscribe to the channel. This is second, third, fourth, sixth, seventh time here. You might as well subscribe because you're obviously enjoying the content. And let's get into this one, fam. This one is by whoa. Cause yeah, I'm not even gonna try it. Just in a nutshell, man. You know what I'm saying?
To experience the true nature of the universe unfiltered. Our senses and brains can only process a fraction of the world. So we have to use concepts and tools to learn about the true nature of reality.
Makes sense.
Technological progress not only widened our knowledge about the universe, it also made us aware of unsettling possibilities. In the future, it might become possible to simulate entire universes. But if this is an option, how can we know that it's not already happened? What if we are not creators, but creations? Is it possible that we are not real and we don't even know it?
Let me try some. Alright, we're good.
If our current understanding of physics is correct, then it's impossible to simulate the whole universe with its trillions and trillions of things. But we don't actually need to anyway. We only need enough universe to fool the inhabitants of our simulation into thinking that they're real. Who needs billions of galaxies? We only need the space our subjects are allowed to explore.
Exactly.
The vast universe could just be a flat projection, and they would have no way to know.
What about small things like cells or bacteria? We don't really need them. When you use a microscope, what you see could be instantly created. Same with atoms. The chair you're sitting on right now does not need to be simulated with quadrillions of atoms. We just need the outermost layer of it. Exactly. It might be empty inside until you decide to break it open.
True.
Your body might feel like it's filled with bubbly things, but it might be empty until you open it. The minimum requirement for our simulation is only the consciousness of our virtual humans. Our subjects just need to think the simulation is real. Okay, so are we being simulated? Well, maybe, but there are a few conditions that need to be met. Obviously, we have no authority over this topic, so please take everything we say with a grain of salt. Based on a modified version of the original simulation argument by Nick Bostrom, we have 5 assumptions for you. If they're true, you, dear viewer, are living in a simulation. Assumption 1. It's possible to simulate consciousness. Nobody knows what consciousness is. For the sake of argument, let's assume that you could generate consciousness by simulating a brain. Brains are pretty complex.
If you count every interaction between synapses as one operation, your brain runs at about 10 to the power of 17, or 100 million billion operations per second. Let's generously assume we need 10 to the power of 20 operations to simulate 1 second of human consciousness. But we don't want to simulate just one human, we want to simulate all of human history at once, so we can skip around. Let's say we want
that brazy that is making my head itch.
to simulate 200 billion humans with an average lifespan of 50 years. 1 year has 30 million seconds, times 50 years, times 200 billion humans, times 10 to the power of 20 operations.
So we need a computer able to handle a million, trillion operations per second. More operations than there are stars in the observable universe. A computer like this is just impossible. Except, maybe it isn't.
I was about to say, says who?
Assumption 2. Technological progress will not stop anytime soon.
Nah, that's a fact. That's my whole point, though, blood, because if technology never stops, who's to say that we're not already technology that's been tried and tested? Who's to say that we haven't been created? Who says we are the originators? What if we're just meant to think that, blood? Because technology never stops creating. So when did it start? When did it begin? Where are we? Are we in the middle? Are we at the start? Because technically we're assuming that we are the start of everything. You know what I'm saying? Human beings are the start of this whole planet right here. But what if we're not? What if we're in the middle? What if we're nearly at at the end, what, you know what I'm saying? Who's to say what, you know what I mean?
Technological progress continues in a
crazy.
similar fashion as it has so far, then there might
Because
be
you can just think about these things, but you'll be thinking forever, fam, because the possibilities are endless, fam. You know what I'm saying?
galaxy-spanning civilizations with unlimited computer power at some point.
The probabilities are multifaceted, so you can literally, you could think this or that, this could happen, that could, you know what I'm saying? Might have already happened, this could happen, you know what I mean? It's all
Beings
long
on a
thing, man.
technology level so advanced that we could barely distinguish them
If
from
you're trying to comprehend this stuff, fam, your brain would get like that, no cap.
gods. A computer that can handle a million, trillion operations is serious business, but there are actually concepts for computers which could handle this. The Matryoshka brain is a theoretical megastructure made up of billions of parts orbiting a star feeding on its radiation. A computer of this scale would have enough power to simulate many thousands, if not millions, of humanities at the same time.
And who's to say that's not
Other
already
technologies, like high-end future quantum computers, might lower the size drastically.
What if we're just relearning what's already been learned?
So it might be possible to do this with a structure the size of a large city, or even smaller. But only if there's still someone around to build the computer.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's what I'm saying.
Assumption 3. Advanced civilizations don't destroy themselves. If there is a point at which all civilizations destroy themselves, this whole discussion ends here. Looking into space, you'd expect a universe filled with millions of alien civilizations, but we see nobody. The reason for this might be great filters. Great filters are barriers life has to overcome, like nuclear war, asteroids, climate change, or a black hole generator. If life is inherently self-destructive, then there are no simulations. We explain this in more detail in our Fermi paradox video.
Yeah, I'm about to watch that. I think this is where I stop.
Assumption 4.
Because these are the kind of loopholes that if you go down, you ain't coming back out a sane person, man. Next thing you know, you're one of them weird done is preaching the word of whatever on the corner holding some cardboard and them thing there.
Super advanced civilizations want to run simulations.
Wait, sorry.
Super advanced civilizations want to run simulations. When we speak of post-human civilizations,
Because like,
we
look
don't
at all the ish that we create with VR. Human beings are very intriguing people, and more times when we have a thought, we want to act it out, we want to try it. There's some thoughts that are just dumb, but there's dumb human beings out there that will try those dumb things. There's extreme things that we will think are too extreme, but there's extreme people out there that will try those extreme things. So who's to say that, you know what I'm saying, that certain things haven't already been created? Like, this is crazy when you really think about it, fam. Why did I come and watch this video, blood? I don't know why I watched this video. Now I'm just putting myself through even more problems. Now I'm going to want to find out this and this and create a chain reaction of just pure madness.
don't know what we're dealing with. To think we know what beings as powerful as gods want is pretty arrogant. Imagine the smartest ant on Earth living next to an amusement park. It's curious about what humans are up to, so you try to explain. Unfortunately, the ant just doesn't understand. The concept of roller coasters and standing in lines and holidays and fun doesn't make sense to an ant living an ant life. It's the same with us and a post-human being. Compared to them, we are ants.
Post-human being,
Running
you know.
simulations for fun or science might be an absurdly stupid idea to them. But if they do want to run simulations for whatever reasons, and assumptions 1 to 3 are true too, then the chances are not zero that you are living inside a simulation. Assumption 5. If there are a lot of simulations, you are probably inside a simulation. If there are simulated civilizations,
mean by that?
it's likely that there are a lot of them. After all, we assume that post-human beings have access to practically unlimited computing power. So if they run simulations,
you
it would
stop
be
showing me
convenient
this
to
guy
run
wiggling
billions
his
or
waistline?
even billions of them. If there are billions of simulated universes, there are probably trillions and trillions of simulated conscious beings, which would mean that the vast majority of all conscious beings that will ever have existed are simulated. So for every conscious being made of flesh, a billion simulated
crazy.
ones exist.
That is crazy.
We assume that post-human beings have access to practically unlimited computing power. So if they run simulations,
me again.
it would be
Say that
convenient to
again.
run millions or even billions of them. If there are billions
Because
of
the
simulated
visual effects makes everything so much more, you know what I'm saying, understandable.
Versus-
Especially when you cut the birds and them thing there and you see the 011101, you know what I'm saying, we learned that in school and them thing there.
there are probably trillions and trillions of simulated conscious beings, which would mean that the vast majority of all conscious beings that will ever have existed are simulated. So for
Because you can create replicas, you can, you know what I'm saying, easily in them thing there, whereas regular human beings, the process takes longer and that.
every conscious being made of flesh, a billion simulated ones
But
exist.
realistically, we are the superior. Even like iRobot, blood, people created robots. But then the robots became the superior, but we were so superior that we created a being even more superior that ended up taking over the, you know what I'm saying? But then again, we were so superior that we eventually were able to defeat them, and then, you know what I'm saying? Well, Will Smith did.
Since we have no way of knowing if we are simulated or not, in this case, the chances of you being one of the 999,999.
By the way, speaking of Will Smith, blood, Bel-Air, the new series, watch it. I was skeptical because I thought they were just going to make some dumb remake and ruin the show. I actually kind of liked it. Can't lie to you.
1,999 simulated ones are pretty high. So what you consider reality might
Wait,
not
sorry,
be
I wasn't listening to
case.
this
The
guy.
chances of you being one of the 999,999,999 simulated ones are pretty high. So what you consider reality might not be real at all. You really might be simulated.
Just a bot. I just
All of
might be
this
a
is based
bot.
on a
I
lot of
knew
assumptions
it.
that we can't really test right now. So many scientists
I
disagree with
knew
this
it.
whole thought
I
experiment.
was fake.
So don't burn your house down to test if there will be glitches. If you are simulated, not that much changes for you. You might be on a small planet speeding through eternal nothingness, or a simulation inside a computer. Your existence does not become more or less scary and bizarre. All we can hope to do is try to live good lives and have a good time. And hope that if we actually are simulations in a supercomputer, nobody trips over the power cable.
That's a fact. But there's such a thing as vibe killers in this world, man, so you can't really just enjoy your time. Someone comes along and,
Oh no,
like I just said, there's such a thing as vibe killers.
I think I just unplugged the simulation. But what if that doesn't matter? What if we are in one right now? What if you are simulated?
Jake over at
What I was going to say is that if these men have created technology so advanced that there's a billions and millions of simulations and simulations walking around us, I don't think it would be connected to a cable. You know what I'm saying? Like that thing would be so advanced that it's got some next energy source. But hopefully you man enjoyed though. It's been your boy Njies, man, like Njies or MLC Njies, and I'll catch you man in the next one, man. I'm gone. Bar after bar after bar after bar after bar. I'm too persistent with income, no cast. Get it on my own, no collab. But if a bar with me, that's a body bag. Your mans want smoke, then he leaves with a toe tag. Whole squad hit with a double mag Glock. Got left in the street and the body's getting chucked. Bullets with names and your shit's getting popped. Better be with me and the bag's getting cocked. Still gotta chase the bag, humble. Ain't gotta brag in a league on my own and my stats getting flagged. Hit me for the feet, got verses in stats. Come through like the queen, gotta pay that tax.